Yes. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone, from whichever part of the world you are joining us from. I welcome everybody for Sacred Geometry webinar today with Jonathan Quintin. You can type out from which city you are joining from. Meanwhile, I will just give a brief on Pyramid Times. Pyramid Times is an organization spreading new age spirituality, enlightened entrepreneurship, and also leadership wisdom. And the links for our YouTube and Facebook are posted, and this is also available on YouTube Live. Do share these links with your friends and family. With this, I would like to introduce speaker for the day, Jonathan Quintin. He is currently living in his home country of New Zealand before the pandemic. His livelihood came from speaking tours in the United States, Europe, Australasia. He would present to a wide range of audiences on the subject of sacred geometry and universal order. His specialty is the golden ratio. The golden ratio is the golden thread that weaves its way through the tapestry of creation, uniting diverse and contrasting elements into the harmonious whole. With the world going through extreme changes that we are all experiencing, sacred geometry can connect us to the higher order and help us navigate our way through the changing seas. Currently, he is conducting sessions over Zoom and other online platforms, and you can visit his website attunetocosmos.com, and also his courses are available on resonancescience.org. With this, I hand over to Jonathan Quintin with a huge round of applause. Maybe you can show the raise of hand and acknowledge his presence, and we are honored to have you on our platform.
Thank you, Veena. Thank you very much. And I wanted to start off by sharing something with you, a little piece I just finished today. In fact, this afternoon, in fact, just a short while ago, I finished it. And it's an art piece of mine, art formation. And everything else I do about geometry is, in teaching sacred geometry, is to understand what it is that you're looking at. So I won't talk too much right now. I'm going to share screen, and it only takes like 3 or 4 minutes, and then I'll come back to you. I think I got to, oh, here we go. So that's an example of how I like to present my work. And this is something I've been working on for decades. And in the process, or just recently actually, I put a course together, and that's what I was going to speak about tonight. And we'll go back to sharing screen, and we can go there. Let's see, I'll bring it up first. Oh yeah, okay. So it's here at this website, resonancescience.org, and it's an academy, an online academy. It's headed by Nassim Haramein, and he's an astrophysicist, and he's like a modern day Galileo. He's way ahead of his time, and he's working on bringing free energy to the world, energy that just comes from space. And free energy is what he's working on. And he has this academy, and these are some of the courses that can be taken at this academy. And this is my course here. It takes you to my page. And the course I'm giving is $75 US. And it's mostly, practically all of it is in pictures. And it's made up of short clips of geometric processes. And these are expressed through numbers and shapes and patterns and forms, which are the alphabet of creation. But there's more to it than that. And that's the beauty and the profound implications about, well, just what is it all about? And it's about, for one thing, it's about experiencing in a very tangible form this order, this higher order that exists through geometry and can be expressed in an infinite number of ways, bringing the stars and triangles and the rhomboids and the pentagons and pentagrams and decagrams, and bringing these shapes together in infinite number of ways that form these beautiful mosaics, these cosmoscapes, these algorithms emanating from the universal mind. I don't know if I can, here we go. Here's some samples of that. And this is an order that has been there eternally. I mean, this wasn't out there in space until I joined the dots and made the geometries and then colored them in. But it was there in potential, at least the framework was there in potential, because the framework is an expression of this order, this higher order, that can only be known to us through geometry. And as we get to know it, visually know it, then we create it in our own reality. It becomes a part of who we are, and we become a part of what it is. And it becomes this relationship between self and non-self, or self and unity, and aligning, attuning to this natural order by holding it in our own thought, in our own thoughts, and experiencing, well, first of all, whole brain consciousness. I should move to some more stuff. I'll come back to that. I think this is where, here's a piece about Nassim is introducing me at a talk that we gave.
I think we need to share the sound as well.
Oh, I'm sorry if the sound, no. I didn't realize the sound wasn't coming through, so it's no use. Oh, that's too bad. He's going to talk about cosmology and that. Although you can see it, you can visit the site afterwards and hear the sound. So I'll just go ahead with the course and we'll find our way over to there. So there's 3 modules. This is module 1. This is an introduction where Nassim and I have a discussion about cosmology. And he's a very good friend of mine. I've known him for many years. And we would present at different places. We gave a speaking tour in Australia and we also present in United States. He comes from the hard physics perspective. You know, he does all the math and the physics and everything. And I come from the holistic, psychological, philosophical, ethereal experience and relationship with the same geometry. We often the geometries overlap. But and his from the science part and mine from more the relationship part of self and unity and higher order and expanded consciousness. And so we go through different things, and last time I showed visualization, a clip of visualization of when we look at something, we don't actually see what is there. I'll just race through that here. We here we go. So the dream state and the waking state is virtually the same visualization, because what's happening is your eye, if you look at, for example, a bluebird, you don't actually see the flesh and blood creature that is standing in front of you. You see more the light reflected off it. So we need a light source, and then the light, once it reaches the density of the bird, reflects off it and carries with it information about the bird: shape, size, color, motion, and other things. And this information is carried in these light waves. It passes through the pupil, through the iris, through the lens. The image is inverted at the lens and projected to the back of the eyes, where there's these light sensitive nerve endings which respond to this reflected light by pulsating and generating these neuroelectrical charges that pass along the optical nerve through the geniculate nucleus, where it's directed to the occipital lobe and is reconstituted in the mind's eye, in this part in your consciousness. The information, the binary code that came through in these charges, these neuroelectrical charges, is now taking shape inside your head. And you are reproducing these geometries in your consciousness. These geometries are templates of universal laws, and your training is a brain entrainment to natural order and natural law, and how to align your human instrument to be in attunement and harmony and resonance with this order. When you do, then you open yourself up to this information, this knowledge, and this beauty, and this order, and this purpose. And no two people will see the same thing. Everyone's going to interpret it through the filters of what's gone there before them in terms of indoctrination and culture and many other factors and variables that give each person a very unique experience. So that sort of thing, and also there's a library where you can download all of the images that you saw there. You can download and build up your own library of these geometries. So where were we? And then numbers. The language is number, shape, pattern, form, and the relationship between them, among them, aligned to an order, a universal, profound order. Numbers are more than just numbers. And it's not numbers so much, it's the relationship that exists between them, among them. Oops. And then we move into shapes, starting with the primary shapes, which are birthed from the circle. Primary shapes are the circle reflecting upon itself. And with those three shapes, they contain among them all of the laws that are to be found in nature and creation. They are mathematical programs, fractals, that can combine in ways that will just amaze you. And it's all about relationship. And these shapes make other shapes. For example, and it goes on. So anyway, more of that. And there's some drawing exercises. Let's see, I'll find a nice one to choose. Drawing Metatron's cube. So there's a great sense of satisfaction that can be experienced when you create something out of nothing. And so with these as your tools, with a protractor, a ruler, a compass, black ink pens, a selection of pencils, light, medium, and dark, a selection of colored pencils, and felt tip pens. If you want all of those things, you don't need all of those things. And to make it easier to see on the screen, I've put it into black, but actually the black would be a white sheet of paper. This just makes it more dynamic. It makes it easier for the mind to absorb. And just go through the various stages of how you get from nowhere, building up and continuing, replicating patterns. So we're looking to create Metatron's cube. And so we've got the number of circles here on the right. On the left is the cube itself, or the foundation of the cube. And there's a certain relationship, a certain way that they come out that provides the best results, but we'll move on here. On the right is the one that you would be drawing. And I'm racing through it a bit here, but when you start with nothing and then you finish with something, that shown here is the grid for the star tetrahedra. It's also the grid for other things. Oh, so I also did this so black against white to give it the contrast. This is how your finished product would look. I'll see if I can find a better example than that. And here's module 3. Module 3, well, let me put it differently. Module 1 and module 2 were just to prepare you for module 3, because module 3 is about the golden ratio and the golden number. It shows how everything is related to the golden number. And even the primary shapes contain the golden ratio, and some of them better so than others. So here we've got the triangle inside a circle, and we use those points, the red dots, the center of more circles that you draw with the compass. And these circles overlap in certain way, in certain places, and you draw a straight line through them. And the lines overlap, and so more information is revealed with each step. And here we see how the base of one of these triangles, when extended out to the circle, then the relationship between that measurement between the circle and the triangle and the center part of the triangle is in golden proportion. And in fact, this divides the whole circle up into golden proportions. And so this is an example of how it's a stepping stone experience. One piece of information gives another set of information, which can be acted upon to bring forth another set of information. And eventually we find our way to the sacred ratio, which was already inherently there in the relationship between the square and the golden ratio, the square and the circle and the golden ratio. So this part here, that's where you put the point of the protractor of the compass, I mean. And this point here is where you put the lead pencil. And from here, with your compass, then you draw an arc down to the line that is extended from the base of the square. And here's the golden ratio. That's the length of the square is 1 unit. And this length is 0.618, which gives us the golden ratio. But the pentagon is the most interesting one because it doesn't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything to find the golden ratio because it's inherently inside the pentagon. The pentagon by its nature is an embodiment and expression of the golden ratio. So all of those colors are different steps of the golden progression. And we see here how if we divide and then further divide and then further divide the pentagon, it's all golden proportional, every part of it relating to every other part is a golden proportional relationship. So that takes us, and then here, primary shapes. Oh, it's drawing them. You get to draw what I showed you, what I just showed you. When you draw it yourself, then there's quite a sensation to be, well, I don't know, everyone will experience it differently, but it's very satisfying to be working with the golden ratio. Because it's the way that nature counts. We look at this is a little bit too complicated to quickly explain. Where are we? Oh, okay, more. It gets a little bit more in depth, a little more complicated. But the thing about this course is it's, I don't know, it's 30 something, maybe 40 lessons, somewhere around that. But it's very much a case. It's very much a case of where a picture is worth 1,000 words. Geometry, each shape in geometry is a fractal of a particular principle, and it relates to other parts of itself or similar to itself in a certain way, and in some cases it relates perfectly to other systems of circular division. And that's what they are, these shapes. They are aspects of the circle. They're polygons, meaning regular, or when regular polygon term is applied, it means that every angle is the same within them. Every length of each shape is the same. And the most fundamental ones are the triangle, the square, and the pentagon. They're the primary shapes. They're the key. Because all of the others are just extrapolations of those three primary shapes, or extrapolations or truncations of them. So Yeah, I think that covers what I wanted to say about that. If you're still there, Veena, and would like to come
Yes.
back, join us.
Yeah. So all the information of the sacred geometry is available on the Resonance Science platform. You can just click on the link provided in the chat window. If you are interested, do subscribe for that particular course. And if you have any questions regarding what else is available and how it will help you, you can post questions to Jonathan now for next few minutes. You can raise a hand and we can unmute you. Yes, Rajendra, Radha, Mohan, Brahmachari, Krishnan, Kamakshi. Yeah, please go ahead and post your questions if you have any.
I think we're good.
Yeah, yeah. I think recently in most of the newest spirituality courses, especially related to light body activations, ascensions, and many other areas, they are saying that our body itself has a sacred geometry, and if we use this sacred geometry, it helps in healing. Can you just elaborate on that so that people can know more on that?
Well, it is by its nature healing, just as nature, contains an antidote to every disorder that we experience. There's an antidote to it in nature. Well, and that's what sacred geometry is vibrationally. And when we engage with sacred geometry, when we develop a relationship with sacred geometry, so that we invite it into our consciousness, into our cranium, into our brain, let's continue with our cranium. It's like a theater. The cranium is our theater of how we experience the world. And when we fill it with, it vibrates to whatever our thoughts happen to be, or what we're looking at, where we're focusing our attention. And that's the word, that's an important word, attention, because that's what it's all about. Where do we put our attention? When we put our attention with these geometric principles, which are universal laws, well, we are aligning ourselves, our whole being, we're aligning that to bring it into resonance or attunement with cosmos. And so in that regard, what it does is if we hold these geometries in our consciousness and we integrate them into our lives and our awareness, what happens, or what appears to happen, is that which is out of balance, it brings into balance, back into balance, that which is out of balance. And just by its nature, because it contains all of the resonance, all of the frequencies, all of the laws, everything that we need to be in harmony with universal law. And so it is a device, it's a field that greatly enhances many other fields of healing. It's like it's an anchor. It holds the energy. It holds the space.
So what are the gadgets that we can use for this sacred geometry structures?
There are gadgets. There's the 5 Platonic solids, which you can build out of cardboard or out of sticks. Sticks like Q-tips or something like that. There's lots of different ways to build them, but it's also a case of, I think, I forget how many sticks there are altogether, 30, 60. about 90 sticks in all. And so you've got 90 sticks, and you've also got the 5 Platonic solids. You've got the tetrahedron, the hexahedron, octahedron, icosahedron, dodecahedron, which are like the primary shapes, only in 3D. And in fact, you know, we've got the 3 primary shapes for 5 Platonic solids. There's 2 extra forms from the triangle. And in the ancient Hindu tradition, they were considered the thought forms of God because they contain all of the laws of creation. And also they contain the geometric principles that are required for molecules to form and develop. And it's the same geometry. And these geometries are to be found in the primary shapes, for one thing, in 2-dimensionally, and 3-dimensionally, and more in a more refined manner and in complex manner, the 5 Platonic solids. And they are tools, they are powerful tools. Building the Platonic solids, you can go online and put type in build, you know, the 5 Platonic solids, and you'll get lots of ways showing you how easy it is to build them. From anything as simple as a sheet of paper and a pair of scissors, you can build the 5 Platonic solids, or you can get, you know, more refined than that. You can use cardboard or wood, and there's 2 types. There's solids, and then there's the frameworks where you just see where it's just the vectors, and there's no planes. The planes stand empty, and you get a different sensation, a different effect that way. And for parents, I don't have any children of my own. I wish I did, but I don't. But I always thought and always wanted children, and thought that if I had a child, then I would have the 5 Platonic solids on a mobile above the bib, above the bed, the bassinet. And that would be the first 5 forms that, you know, came into their reality, the 5 Platonic solids. I think that would give them a really good start in life.
I think the flower of life, which is behind you, and people suggest tree of life.
Yes,
And
flower
all
of
these.
life. Yes.
Whenever
Yes.
I see this, there is a lot of harmony within me as well.
Sorry?
Whenever I see this flower of life, I feel a lot of peace and harmony within myself.
Oh, yes. Yes, me too. And myself. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah. I think there is some question related to cosmic energy. How to handle cosmic energy? I think it's not related to the sacred geometry. Okay. That's all, I guess. Everything is addressed. Yeah, thank you so much, Jonathan, for joining us today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And the link for the Resonance Science ORG for this sacred geometry is provided in the chat window. You can go and visit what this particular course. And if you need any this website, right? And also, I guess there are some products that will be provided on this website. ARC and all, I have been listening that you people provide some gadgets kind of materials as well.
You broke up a lot just then, so I missed everything. I didn't catch everything you said.
Yeah. So I heard that there are some maybe crystals or some pendants that you offer on the website. Is it there? I have been
Oh,
Diana and others.
that's not me. That's Nassim.
Okay.
That Nassim offers these crystals which are related, very powerful crystals. In fact, I've got one somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
he's got a very big website. It's very interesting. It's worth a visit and,
yes.
exploring it a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. With this, I thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you so much, Jonathan, for having you on our platform. We are honored, definitely.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. And
Okay.
going forward, we'll be coming up with mobile app where we would like to have even your courses on our platform, and everybody can just have a eye on Pyramid Times website and the upcoming mobile app. Do subscribe to Pyramid Times, and thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.